dear students. I am Dr. Shikha Pandey. Today I am going to discuss about the environmental legislation and sustainable development discussion on question bank. So in this lecture, I am going to discuss about the questions related with the topic, that is environmental legislation and sustainable development. So the topic we are going to cover is the discussion on question bank, environmental legislation and sustainable development. Topic learning outcome is that they and the student will going to learn about the constitutional protection that has been given for the safety of the environment, and the course outcome is there. It will be make you understand the features and laws and rules related to the environmental protection for the pollution control. Next is the outcome that we are going to achieve at the end of the course is that any student will get idea about the knowledge and the constitutional protection that has been given for the safety of the environment. Means in this topic we are going to discuss about the constitutional protection, means Air Act, Water Act, many act is there, Environment Protection Act, Solid Waste Management Act. So any will student at the last of the course subject, they will get idea about the knowledge, the constitutional protection that has been given for the safety of the environment. Now let's start this discussion with the question number 1. What are the different objectives of Air Pollution Act? Air Pollution Act has been made to control the pollution of the air. So it is to control pollution. So this is the first objective that has been related with the Air Pollution Act is to control the pollution of air. What are the objectives of the Wildlife Protection Act? Wildlife Protection Act has been made to protect the wildlife against the poaching, illegal trading and haunting. So that is the main objective of this Wildlife Protection Act, is to stop haunting, illegal trade of animal article, and then it's killing that has been banned. And this Wildlife Protection Act has been made for the conservation of wildlife and to save them from getting endangered or extinct. Next is the endless various acts related to environment protection. Environment protection, many act is there, but the main act related with the Environment Protection Act is the EP Act 1986. EP Act 1986. Environment Protection Act is there, that is 1986. It has been made, and in this EP Act, all act has been covered, like Air Act, Water Act, Solid Waste Management Act, Hazardous Waste Management Act, Biomedical Waste Management and Handling Rules. Next is what are the role of green buildings in reducing global warming? Global warming is due to the warming of Earth's temperature. Basically, if we'll understand that global warming is all due to, meaning of global warming is that increase of the temperature of Earth. So this Earth's temperature has been increased by some greenhouse gases. So those gases that will be causing the increase in the temperature of gases. So CO2 is there, CO2, methane, NOx, nitric oxide is there. So these are the gases that is going to be increase the temperature of the Earth. That's why this green building concept is there. Green building concept means those building that will be green in nature, like that will be doesn't causes any unfavorable or any harm to the environment, because they're from the maintenance to their demolition, from their first step to end step, like till the demolition, that will be not going to harm the environment. That kind of building is called as green building concept, and it will going to reduce the global warming because it will be cut down the emission of carbon dioxide and many harmful gases. Next is the short note on biomedical waste. Biomedical waste, that type of waste that is generated due to the biomedical activities, like from nursing home, from hospital, from R&D research work purpose, from any tissue culture, from any laboratories there, those waste that is producing from all these things is called as biomedical waste. And the example of the biomedical waste is the animal tissue, cotton, syringe. These are the example of this biomedical waste. What is mean by environmental impact assessment? EIA. EIA means environmental impact assessment related with any project or activity. Assessment of environmental consequences that is related with any projects or any activity. Crazy consumerism is the Consumerism, consume any item in more and more amount. This is called as crazy consumerism. In today's world, people are very much getting consumer nature is very much increased in normal person, because today's they want to consume everything. If any person will need one laptop, they will going to buy three laptop. No, not a person will going to happen one phone. Mostly person is carrying 2 to 3 phones. That is the example of a crazy consumerism. Enumerate the various effects of urban sprawl. Urban sprawl effects is the pollution, clearing of forests. These are the effects, various effects of this due to this urban sprawl. Next question is the what is the importance of environmental education? Environmental education is very much important for a normal person, because environmental education will educate you towards the protection of environment. Then it will give you idea. Environmental education will educate any person towards the protection of environment. Like, it will give you idea how to protect and why it is important to protect our environment, our natural resources. List any 3 categories of waste and give their sources. So you have to discuss about the categories of wastes. Like, first one is a biomedical waste, municipal solid waste, hazardous waste, and write down its sources also. Like, biomedical waste source is the hospital waste, hospital, and then municipal solid waste are those waste that is generated from any household activity, and then industrial waste that is generated by the industrial sources. Next is the what is the Forest Conservation Act of 1980 specify. Forest Conservation Act 1980 is basically made for the conservation of wildlife and forest protection and conservation. Define the term hazardous waste. Are hazardous waste dumped in India? So those waste that is coming, that have been having the characteristics of ignitability, highly reactive, highly flammable, or highly infectious, means those waste that is containing any of the characteristics, means that will be very much reactive in nature, that will be very much ignitability, means those things that will catch fire easily, or infectious in nature, is called as hazardous waste. And hazardous waste dumped in India, now method has been deep burial has been done in India to dump the hazardous waste. Deep burial is done for the dumping of hazardous waste. Mention some silent features about the biomedical waste management and handling rule. In this biomedical waste management and handling rule, management of biomedical waste has been discussed, and it's a proper handling of the person who is carrying this biomedical waste, or who is dealing with this biomedical waste. It's a transportation, segregation, and it's a final disposal and transportation also. So these are the basics of the biomedical waste that has been given in this biomedical waste management and handling rule. Next is the what is the municipal solid waste and what does it require management. MSW, municipal solid waste, is those waste that has been generated from any household activity, any residential area. So it requires management, like it should not be dumped in an open area, or it requires management like it should be done by a proper disposal method should be there, like composting is there, incineration is there, sometime digestion, aerobic digestion and anaerobic digestion is there, landfilling is there. These are the various methods for the that will be required the management of this biomedical waste, because it is important, because if we'll throw the biomedical waste in anywhere, it will create very much nuisance to the society. It will create a bad smell, flies is there, many diseases will come like diarrhea, cholera, jaundice. Next is the define the term sustainable development. Why is it necessary? Sustainable development word has been come like sustainability of the environment, means the use the term, use the goods, use the things in this manner, like you will consume also, and it should be preserved for future generation also, and it is necessary for the development of a country, because sustainability, so any things, any resources that is present today will be available for the future generation also. So use and development, in that kind of development that will not going to harm the environment, is called as sustainable development. Next is the what is mean by population explosion. Population explosion, you already know, rapid or sudden increase in a population is called as population explosion. So rapid or sudden increase increase in the population. It is called as population explosion. Now comes to the next question, that is discuss the basic characteristics of the green building. Green building basic characteristics regarding green building is that it will not produce carbon dioxide, low carbon lifestyle is there, low ecological footprint. These are the characteristics of green building. Green water harvesting is there, rainwater harvesting is there. What are the threats to sustainability? Threats to sustainability is the population explosion and clearing of forest, deforestation, cutting of trees, all are the threats to sustainability. Now, what are the duties and power assigned to State Pollution Control Board under Water Act? In the Water Act, they have formed CPCB and SPCB. CPCB and SPCB. CPCB is the Central Pollution Control Board. SPCB is the State Pollution Control Board. So it is the duty of SPCB to monitor their water of their city. So in terms of BOD, COD, dissolved oxygen, pH, temperature of water quality, means they will publish the report or monitor the water quality of their area, and they have to report it to the Central Pollution Control Board. And mention the objectives of Environmental Protection Act. Environmental Protection Act, it has been given that it is a duty of every citizen to protect the environment. And in this Environment Protection Act, many acts has been made for Air Act, Water Act, means they have made provision for the protection of environment in terms of every, they have given laws on air, water and all these things. So in this is a part A, that is short answer question. You have to write in the different, in a very concise manner, like it is a very short answer question. Now the second part of the question is like part B question. Part B question is a long answer question. Here you have to discuss all these things in a more manner, in a more way. So first of all is discuss the salient features of Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981. So you have to discuss the acts and provision. Provision has been made in the Air Protection Act that in this act SPCB and CPCB is formed for the continuous monitoring of air, and then they will take the regarding action and implementation of this act. What are the strategies of making cities and communities sustainable? So for making cities and communities sustainable, you have to shift on the sustainability, like everything should be stopped, like anything that is going to be harm the environment and climate should be stopped. What are the salient features of Environment Protection Act like 1986? Here you have to discuss about the EP Act 1986, that is Umbrella Act also. Umbrella Act also. List major provision of Forest Conservation Act. Different provision has been given in the Forest Conservation Act 1980, like conservation of wildlife, conservation of forest resources, like protection of natural resources. All these things you have to discuss, like different objectives, what are the main features of this Forest Conservation Act. Discuss the salient feature of Wildlife Protection Act. In this question also, you have to discuss about the salient features that is related with the Wildlife Protection Act. What are the major municipal solid waste management and handling rules? Here you have to discuss about the municipal MSW management and handling rule, like the generation, then it's collection of MSW, then segregation, transportation, and then disposal of this MSW. Next is the biomedical waste. Give the definition of the biomedical waste and what are the rules to manage and handle them. You have to define the biomedical waste and different rules to manage and handle them. So first of all, you have to discuss about what is biomedical waste. Means waste those that is generating from any hospital, nursing home, any R&D industry is called as biomedical waste, and what are the rules to manage and handle them. Biomedical waste management and handling them, how to manage it and how to done the disposal and everything related with the biomedical waste. What are the hazardous waste and discuss the rules to manage and handle them. In this question, you have to discuss about the hazardous waste management and handling rules. Next question is define sustainable development. What are the threats and measures for sustainable development? So, define the term sustainable development. Sustainable development is that kind of development that will meet the needs of present generation without compromising the need of future generation. Is called as sustainable development. Sustainability and the threats of this sustainable development is the population explosion. Because more population is there, they will demand more food, shelter, everything will be more. So the major threats for this sustainable development is the population explosion. And the next question is describe the importance of environmental education. What is the value-based environment education? Environment education is very much important for a normal person, because if due to this understanding the basics of the environment, you will have idea to take actions to make measures for the protection of environment. Then only you will learn about the protection of environment, and then you will develop some feeling or moral towards this environment. And the value-based environment education is very much important in today's world. Right, the objective principles, key elements, and importance of environment impact assessment. Environment impact assessment is a method to assess the impacts related with the impacts on the environment due to any development activity. So in this, you have to discuss about the basic principle and the elements, and then importance of this environment impact assessment. Next question is discuss the explain how an extreme consumerism among a society wealthiest member affects middle class person. So consumerism is like in the wealthiest society, means higher society. Higher society will have extreme consumerism activity. Like in higher society, you will see that in any family they will have 4 to 5 cars, but in middle class they have only 1 car. In a higher society, everybody will have their own TV, own AC, but in middle class family they have a single AC. They have, or maybe they will shift on the coolers also. They have only a single car, only one vehicle, only one bike is there. But in extreme and higher society, they will maintain it at an individual level. So it will be going to affect like this extreme consumerism in higher society. Then they will produce more pollution. Then they will produce many major harm to the environment, and that will be going to affect the middle class person only. And what is urban sprawl? Mention cause and effect of urban sprawl. Urban sprawl means the expansion of city in an unplanned manner is called as urban sprawl, and its causes and effect of urban sprawl is there. Then you have to discuss about the population explosion, needs for job, and all these things. And what are the concepts of green building? How will green building impact the environment overall? Here you have to discuss about the concepts of the green building, like what is green building. Green building is those building that will be not causing any harm to the society from its beginning to the demolition, means from its starting point to the end point. And how will green building impact the environment overall? Means how it will be related with the environment consequences that is related with the green building. Next is the salient features of Water Act. What has different provisions and what are the different features has been given in the Water Conservation and Management Act 1972. Next question is like objectives, principle, key elements, and importance of environmental education. Here you have to discuss about the environmental education and its main objective, principle, key elements, and importance related with the environment education. Now next is the part B question, that is a long answer question. Discuss the role of governments toward the sustainable development. So in this picture you can see that sustainability can only be achieved by a balance between the society, environment, and economic. So government has a different develop government has to make preventive measures for this sustainable development. And what is population explosion, right? The consequences and controlling method of population explosion. So here you can see that these are the impacts of population explosion, and like poverty, malnutrition, environmental degradation, over exploitation of natural resource, a spread of disease, economic inequity, garbage disposal and sanitation problem, overcrowding of cities leads to increase in slum, unemployment and low living standards. So these are the reason behind this population explosion. And you can write controlling method, like you should poverty, literacy should be there, healthy lifestyle should be there. It means its sustainability should be there. All these are the different controlling method for population explosion. First of all is the literacy. Literacy. Explain briefly the concepts of crazy consumerism, consumption and its effects. Here you have to discuss about the consumption pattern, like this crazy consumerism. Crazy consumerism. Now today's world, people are getting mad toward the consumption of any products and its effects related with the environment. Means it will leads to the not will it will not leads to the sustainability. It will not leads to the sustainable development. Now let's start the part C question. Part C is the critical answer question. Means like this, in this section you have to think about the questions, what they are asking, and what is the, you have to write it in details, and it will comes always in 5 marks. So first of all, first question is like, why do we refer Environment Protection Act as an umbrella act, and discuss the role of various governmental agency in environmental protection and control. So in this act you have to discuss about the salient features and objectives of the EP Act. And it is an umbrella act because it will cover all the segments of environment. And in this laws they have been made implementation and provision for the protection of environment, protection and control of environment. Next question is that how do you define the pollution as per Water Act 1974? What is the salient feature of the act? Here again you have to, first of all you have to discuss about the features that has been given in the Water Act, objectives of the Water Act, and the pollution of water, means what is air pollution, and what are the objectives has been given in the Water Conservation Act 1974. Next is the again the explain the concepts of green building. How will green building impacts the environment overall? Means the impacts of green building on the environment, like what are the eco-friendly manner, in which manner that is the this benefits of this green building. Benefits of green building you have to discuss. Green building you have to discuss what the rules and regulation that guide waste management in India. In this question you have to discuss about the municipal solid waste management, hazardous waste management, biomedical waste management. Why is sustainable development so often associated with protecting the environment? Because sustainable development, we have already developed that sustainability, environment and nation is related with each other. With the nation development will not be achieved by harming the environment. So that's why this word has came, like sustainable development is associated with the environment. Means sustainability or development you can achieved by any country. Development, the real development any country achieved in terms of sustainable development only means without harming their natural resources, without creating pollution. This kind of development is called as sustainable development. Explain how does Wildlife Protection Act 1972 deals with human-animal conflict. Explain how does Wildlife Protection Act 1972 deals with the human-wildlife conflict, and mention the major threats being faced by the wildlife in India. So in this Wildlife Protection Act 1972, they have made rules implementation without for the killing of animal, illegal hunting, like that, and the threats being faced by the wildlife in India. Means like humans cannot enter into the human area. Like the concept of biosphere has been come. biosphere reserve, sanctuaries, means those area that will be particular animal is living, that should be protected for their own environment. What does the mean by basic environmental assessment? Describe the key steps in the process. Here you have to discuss about the environment impact assessment and the different processes and all steps related with this environment impact assessment. Why are developing country experiencing rapid population growth while developed country are growing more slowly? Because developing countries people are not literate, they are not understanding its effect on the environment, they are not understanding the population growth will affect their life, and this will deteriorate their life quality also. What are the function of central board and state board under the AIR Act? Here you have to discuss about the duties of CPCB and SPCB under the AIR Act. Environment education can play an important role in environment protection. This statement you have to explain, like you have to connect this environment education with the protection of environmental protection. Like this, environmental education can play an important role in environmental protection. Environmental protection can only be achieved by this environmental education, because if a person will educate educated and they should develop thinking towards the protection of environment, then only they will think that it is my duty to protect the environment. That's why this term is very much important, and you have to explain it in a essay manner or with some example, or some case study is also there. So these are the all question banks that has been related with the topic environment pollution control technologies and global environmental problem. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.